राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे,
Let's forget the entire world and focus our attention on the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 5. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sangyai gacchantya-mudha padamavyayam tat. Translation: those who are free from vanity and delusion, who have overcome the evil of attachment, who dwell constantly on the self and God, who are free from the desire to enjoy the senses, and are beyond the dualities of pleasure and pain, such liberated personalities attain my eternal abode. In the first 4 verses, Sri Krishna compared this world to an inverted Ashwath tree. The Ashwath is characterized by its many aerial roots. And he said it is avyayam, it continues without end. Like the water rises from the ocean, forms clouds, comes onto the land, causes rain, which creates rivulets, which merge into a stream, which becomes the river and feeds the ocean again. And this cycle just continues ad infinitum. Likewise, the soul has been in this world of Maya since innumerable lifetimes. And it can either continue the journey or else the soul can decide that in this human form I have a golden opportunity to break through. So he said that first of all, cultivate detachment, and that will change your perspective to things. You will realize that the buds of the tree that are the objects of the senses are delusive and not as attractive as they appear to be. All that glitters is not gold. And this world of Maya is Maya, that what it is not seeming to be. It is seeming to be so attractive and promising you so much of pleasure. But the reality is something quite different. If you feel you have had your fill, अरे भाई 84 लाख की चक्की पीसते पीसते I've had enough. Then stand back with a sense of detachment. Chop off the entanglement. Your detachment will not be complete in the beginning, but just sufficient to begin the process. Then Sri Krishna said, search for the root of the tree, which is above, which is in God. Interestingly, the tree is separating us from God, and yet it has originated in God. That is the irony of it. And that is how the Chatushloki Bhagavatam defines Maya. You know, the firstborn Brahma in our universe, when he came into being on the lotus that stemmed from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he saw around him an ocean of raw energy. He didn't understand, who am I, why am I here, what is my purpose. So he saw he's sitting on a lotus and he decided to explore it. He entered the stem and continued for years but did not reach the beginning, origin. So he retraced his steps and sat down again when the waves of this ocean of energy were creating a sound, tapa, tapa, tapa. He thought, I am getting the indication. Tapa means austerity. Perform tapasya. He performed austerities, as a consequence of which Sri Krishna manifested. And Sri Krishna spoke in his heart 4 verses. These 4 verses are called the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. They are the seed. The Bhagavatam we see today has got 18,000 verses, and the seed is these 4 verses. The first verse says, Sri Krishna tells Brahma, Ahameva samevagre nanyadyat sadasat param paschadaham yadetacha yo vashishyet sosmyaham. Most astonishing Brahma Gyan. The Supreme Divine Personality is telling Brahma, Brahmaji, everything that exists is veritably the form of my own self. Ahameva samevagre. Where this world ends. Now, supposing you take a rocket and start traveling, at one point the world will end. What is beyond that? Sri Krishna says, I am beyond that. When the world did not exist, at the time of dissolution, pralaya, I alone existed. And when the world shall wind up and cease to be, I alone will remain. Apart from me, there is nothing else, Brahmaji. And then the second verse is deeply philosophic. Ritertham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamah. He says, this Maya is perceived in the absence of God, but it cannot be perceived without the presence of God. Understood? When you are in lack of God consciousness, you perceive Maya. In God consciousness, you will only perceive God. But the Maya you are perceiving is only because of the energy that He is providing to it. Maya doesn't have its own energy. God is the energetic behind it. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Arjun, this Maya is Mama Maya. It's my energy. And that is why you cannot overcome it until you surrender to me. So it is my energy, and hence the Maya we are experiencing is because God is inspiring it. You say, oh, God is putting us in delusion. He is responsible for it all. Then I knew it. There's no fault of mine. It's all God's fault. Well, He has created an arena for the soul. If you wish to forget, here is the world of Maya, where you can live in complete forgetfulness of God. I'm a Marxist, I'm a Leninist, I'm a fascist, I'm a socialist. God is the opiate of the masses. Once I saw a book in India by one Mr. Shashi Brata. My God died young. He's boasting. God says, you want to forget me? Well and good. In this world of Maya, there'll be no need. So on one side, Maya permits us to forget Him. On the other side, Maya keeps slapping us and helping us slowly reform our mindset in the way that one day we will decide, I need to surrender to Mayapati. So the Gita elsewhere says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyat. Arjun, after many births, one who gets established in knowledge and understands Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Samahatma Durlabha rare soul, then comes to my Sharana. So, we have to now, Sri Krishna told us in the previous verse that you must search for the root of the tree and you must surrender to that God. Now he is telling us how to do that surrender. So he is saying you will need to give up this sense that I am the enjoyer of all that I possess. The sense of possessorship and the sense of enjoyership. The material consciousness says, this is mine, I am the Lord of it all, and it is for my pleasure. Now in that material consciousness, we take it further. A compounding effect goes on. The matter doesn't stop, it continues. So, it results in vanity. Once, Kaka Hathrasi was an Indian humor poet a couple of decades ago. So, one of his ex-classmates from school landed up and they had a gala time together. And Kaka Hathrasi's ex-classmate said, I heard the other classmate lives nearby. So Kaka Hathrasi said, yes, let's go and meet him. Yeah, but my clothes are not appropriate. Kaka said, don't worry, I'll give you my clothes to wear. So this guy wore the good dress that Kaka offered to him. And then they went to meet this guy and he introduced, remember so-and-so, Dinesh Srivastav, our classmate from Delhi Public School. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. Now that Dinesh Srivastav was boiling over with rage. When they left this guy's house, he said, what was the need to tell him that? He said, oh, so sorry. I will not tell. Let's go and meet the next classmate. Now they went to the next classmate. He said, Arre yaar, remember our friend Dinesh Srivastav from Delhi Public School? And the clothes he's wearing are not mine. This guy said when they went out, what was the need for talking about the clothes? Oh my God, I made a mistake again. All right, let's meet the third guy. This time I'll be really careful. So they went to the third classmate. And this time he said, remember Dinesh Srivastav? And I'm not going to tell you anything about his clothes. So this is the vanity. The vanity is the ego. So in the material consciousness, it is typified by this is mine, I am the enjoyer, and the pride of it. So now Sri Krishna says, if you wish to surrender to me, you will have to reverse all of this. The material energy is not meant for our enjoyment. The big mistake we have made is we think that this is for our pleasure. And that gets us into the whole trouble. Why are we suffering? The Buddha, his golden rules are so wonderful. The first golden rule, there is suffering in the world. The second golden rule, suffering has a cause. Third, now they are tinkering with the rules, I'm telling you in the pristine form. The third golden rule, the cause of suffering is desire, your desire to enjoy. And the fourth golden rule, if you finish desire, suffering will cease to be. Now look what the Ishavasya Upanishad states. The Ishavasya Upanishad, the Upanishad of the all-pervading God. My bhashya on it is just going to be released very, very soon, in just 10 days' time. So the first mantra of the Ishavasya Upanishad states, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat. The whole world is the abode of God. He resides everywhere. Your idea that this is mine is completely faulty. The world belongs to God and it is for the pleasure of God. So the second line of the mantra says, Tena tyaktena bhunjitha. Hence, understanding this, renounce the desire to enjoy. Mahagridaha kasya svidhanam. This world never belonged to anyone. So, the shift in consciousness that needs to come about is from I am the enjoyer to I am the servant. The soul is the servant of the Lord. All that we have is to be used in His service. Dasabhutamidam tasya jagat sthavara jangamam Shriman Narayana Swami Jagatam Prabhurishvaraha. In the Padma Puran, Vedvyas says, everything's constitutional position is service to God.